Isang mapayapang hapon Pilipinas. Ito po ang inyong balerina ng bayan, si Lisa Macuja, na bumabati sa lahat ng nakikinig sa DZRH at nanonood sa RH TV, lalo na sa mga kasamahan nating alagad ng sining at kultura sa buong bansa. Una sa lahat, nais naming batiin ang lahat ng mga estudyante ng Lisa Macuja School of Ballet Manila na ngayon ay nagsisipaghanda para sa kanilang mid-year recital, ang Must Dance 4. We are so proud of our students dahil alam naming napakahirap pagsabayin ang seryosong pag-aaral ng ballet at ang araw-araw na pagpasok sa eskwela. Pinagdaanan ko din yan. Kaya't binibigyan namin ng mas maraming pagkakataon ang aming regular ballet students na umakyat sa entablado para naman maipakita kung ano ang bunga ng kanilang mga paghihirap na ituloy ang pagsasanay sa ballet. Kaya sa darating na linggo, March 4, all eyes will be on our BM school students mula sa aming Donada branch at Fisher Mall branch. And they will be sharing the stage with some of our outstanding alumni na ngayon ay mga trainee at second company members na sa Ballet Manila. Kaya kung may mga anak kayong mahilig sa ballet at gustong makakita ng mga kapwa nilang kabataan na nagpe-perform on stage, dalhin nyo sila sa Must Dance 4 next Sunday po sa Aliw Theater at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Samantala, sa ating episode ngayong hapong makakasama natin ang isang kabataang manunulat na nagsimula bilang self-published author. At dahil sa kanyang pagpupursigi, nadiskubre siya ng 2 malaking publishing houses sa loob at labas ng Pilipinas. At pumasok pa ang kanyang aklat sa bestsellers list ng Amazon. Kung hindi nyo pa alam, eto na ang inyong pagkakataong makilala ang ating best-selling author na si Don Lanuza. Magbabalik kami pagkatapos ng ilang paalala.
Si Don Lanuza ay isang makata at may akda ng mga contemporary romance at young adult fiction. Nagsimula siya bilang isang self-published author bago siya nadiskubre ng Anvil Publishing at ng Andrews McMeel Publishing. Ang kanyang unang koleksyon ng mga tula na pinamagatang The Last Time I'll Write About You ay naging #1 sa Amazon New Releases at nananatili sa bestsellers list nito sa mahigit na 1 taon. Bukod dito, siya rin ang may akda ng The Boyfriend Backtrack, What About Today?, The Hometown Hazard, at This Is How It Starts. Nagtapos si Don ng BS Development Communication mula sa UP Los Baños noong taong 2009. Noong 2016, naging nominado siya sa Filipino Reader's Choice Awards Romance in English category para sa The Boyfriend Backtrack. Isang mainit na pagbati ang hatid ng Art2art sa kabataang manunulat na si Don Lanuza.
Magandang hapon, Don, and welcome to Art2art.
Hello, good afternoon po. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Actually, yung una kong tanong sa'yo natanong ko na kanina before we started rolling, is nagsusulat ka sa Ingles?
Apo,
Aha.
in English.
I mean, obviously, kasi nasa Amazon yung iyong...
Yes po. Everything that I write, romance, young adult fiction, poetry, everything is in English.
Pero, do you use mga Filipino characters at saka Philippine settings?
Yes po. For my romance novels and young adult, because I am part of this community, it's called Romance Class. So we're actually Filipino authors who write in English but with Filipino characters and in Filipino settings. So it's sort of our way of representing Philippines to an international stage, so to speak. So,
sorry, what was it?
Romance Class.
Romance
Class.
Class.
Yes.
Romance Class. Ito'y isang organisasyon
community po of
ng mga manunulat.
Yes. and readers as well.
Okay, and readers na you specifically write for romance.
Romance in English. But with Filipino characters.
I see. Okay. So, let's go back to when you first parang discovered na you were meant to be a writer, o kaya writing ang iyong first love. Kailan ito?
I think I started really young, pero hindi po ako nakaka-finish ng stories. But I feel like it started when I was 6, around that. I remember po parang, di ba when you go to school, you buy notebooks? And I had to buy like a separate notebook for my writing. So, parang dun lang po naglalagay lang po ako na ideas, para my sketches. I think I was inspired with like the cartoons that I watch. Tsaka yung with my Barbies that I try to make like a storyline on, you know, when I'm playing with them. So I think it all started with that. And then parang na-carry through ko na siya, like, because I read as well. So parang my response is always when I read, oh, I can write something like this. And then, but when I went to college, I didn't actually study creative writing.
No. So anong kinuha mo sa kolehiyo?
Development communication. It's communication pa rin, but it's not like for creative purposes. So it's sort of like a hobby for me. Nung college po, sumali din po ako ng parang organization for writing as well. But all this time, parang I feel like it's more of a hobby for me, even like the self-publishing thing, because I have a day job aside from writing. So it's like always like a sideline thing lang.
I see.
Yeah. And then until this na parang, oh, it's really starting to be like a real job. It's not just like a hobby anymore.
Okay. So tell us about your day job.
Yeah, I work for a digital music company. So aside from writing, I also really love music as well. So kasi when I was younger, I sing as well. So I'm sort of interested in like songwriting and stuff like that. But I also don't know like how to play music. I've always been like sort of like a fan. Yung ganong perspective lang po. So I tried to figure out how I could get in the business. At first, I was sort of writing articles that are related to entertainment and music, and then eventually I got into the music business itself. So what we do is we work with record labels here locally, and then we help them get their music out into like the digital platforms, so Apple, iTunes, Spotify, you know, so it would be available everywhere in the world.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So how did you get started into yung self-publishing your books?
I attended this workshop with romance author Mina V.S. Guerra. So she's also the founder of Romance Class, the community that I mentioned earlier. So it was 2014. At that time, I attended like her workshop. It's called Author at Once. So it's really about self-publishing in ebook format, not in paperback format. Okay. So at that time din kasi po parang I had a manuscript ready. Kasi when I graduated from college, I had some free time. I didn't like go to work right away. So I managed to finish a novel at the time, but
a whole novel.
Yes.
Okay.
But the problem was before. I didn't know how to get it out there. I tried to submit with publishers, but I think at that time yun yung hindi sila masyadong nag-a-accept ng submissions. It was before the Wattpad era. So for a while parang na-bench muna yung manuscript. And then when I saw this workshop, and I had a free weekend, so I thought, yeah, just go there and find out what I can do. And then when I was in that workshop, dun ko na naalala, oh, I have this novel that's sitting in my files na nothing's happening to it. So I decided to, after that workshop, I decided to visit it. So I rewrote bits of it, but it's basically like the same novel. And then that very same year, I think the workshop was in June. I self-published it in October.
Sa Wattpad?
No, in Amazon already.
In Amazon already.
Yeah, because it's in Wattpad, it's free, and there's also like sort of an issue with plagiarism with it because it's free and you can everyone can read it. In Amazon, you have to pay for it, and they have like more of a system with how to avoid plagiarism with the.
I see.
Yeah.
Mas secure, in
yes,
other words.
parang ganun.
As a self-published author, you would recommend na mag-publish sa Amazon,
Yes.
not in Wattpad.
Although the good thing about Wattpad is it's like an online social community as well. So you get a lot of comments from readers.
Yeah.
For Amazon po kasi parang if someone buys your book, unless they tell you, you wouldn't know that, oh, you have my book pala, parang ganun, unless you get like the reviews. For Wattpad, they can leave comments right away, like even in the middle of your novel. So I guess it's a different ano lang. It depends on you as a writer on what you want to get.
Okay.
Yeah. So I published the first one, The Boyfriend Backtrack. It's a romance novel. I published it on Amazon in October 2014. At the same time as well, Anvil Publishing was looking for manuscripts. They have submissions open. So we submitted, a couple of my friends from romance class as well, we submitted our manuscripts. And luckily it was picked by Anvil. So I was traditionally published the very next year. So parang doon na po nag-start na, I self-publish first because I make it a choice to self-publish first because I feel like I have more control with the content, like how it looks and stuff like that. Because of course, when you have a publisher, they have a say as well. So there's like too many creative heads in one product. So I feel like when I self-publish it first, at least I get to say how I want it to look and what it represents and stuff like that. And then later on, I'm lucky enough that even with the self-published ones, they choose to publish it.
Okay, so sa mga listeners natin na interested na maging self-published authors as well, can you take us through parang yung a step-to-step process in order to actually get self-published?
Yeah. Well, the first thing that you have to do is
write your novel.
Finish
of course.
the book.
Obviously, finish your
actually,
book.
a lot of people are stuck in that first step. You know, the question more is like, how do I finish this? And it's like it's a totally different conversation. But when you're actually ready, that you have this novel ready, the first thing you have to do is to find an editor, because you need like an objective eye to look at your work. And of course, copy editing as well. You're not that perfect. We're not all that perfect. So, you know, you have to run these ideas by. I also choose to have like beta readers. So maybe 2 to 3 people who read your book, and then they can comment on like the content, because your editor is more, she can talk about like the story itself, but it's really more of like the line editing, copy editing. But for beta readers, that's where you're open to suggestions. You can change the sequence of how events happen and stuff like that, or delete a scene. So yeah, I usually have beta readers and editors first, and then I rewrite again. And when that's ready, you get an artist to do your covers. Some people do get a designer as well to do the interiors for ebook and paperback, because it's different. It has different rules, technicalities to it. But if you're very patient, you can do it yourself actually. So when that's done, you have the help of your editors and your designers. You just have to sign up to Amazon. It's very simple. They have like instructions on how, you know, you just have to pass stuff for tax purposes and stuff like that. And then you just have to click publish, and that's it.
Wow, you click publish and you're published. Oh my Lord! Okay. Marami pa po tayong pag-uusapan kasama ang kabataang manunulat at makata na si Don Lanuza. Dito pa rin sa Art2art. Magbabalik po kami pagkatapos ng ilang paalala.
Programang hatid ay sining at kulturang para sa lahat. Magbabalik ang Art2art. Schedule ng mga inaabangang konsyerto, update sa mga magagandang panoorin sa mga tanghalan at teatro. Narito na ang Art2art Calendar.
Narito ang ating arts calendar. Sa teatro, inihahandog ng Ateneo Entablado ang malabodabil na musical comedy na Ang Pitong Gunggong. Ang dula ay sinulat ni Christine Bellien at Tyron Kasumpang sa direksyon ni Jethro Nino Tenorio. Mapapanood mula February 27 hanggang March 17 sa Rizal Mini Theater ng Ateneo de Manila University. Batay sa isang aklat na pambata, ito ay kwento ng 7 mangmang na naghahanap ng pagkamulat sa baryo ng Santa Iluminada. Dito'y makikilala nila si Papa D na magsasamantala sa limitasyon ng 7 para sa kanilang pansariling kapakanan. Para sa karagdagang detalye, maaaring mag-email sa admuentablado@gmail.com. Sa sining biswal, inihahandog ng Art Informal ang group exhibit na pinamagatang Mga Bagong Kristo sa Lumang Simboryo, kung saan si Norman Crisologo ang curator. Nagbukas February 8, makikita ito hanggang March 31. Nakatuon ang exhibit sa kaugnayan ng religious imagery at iconography sa kasalukuyang panahon. Tampok ang mga obra ni na Ian Fabro, Robert Langenegger, Tatong Torres, Jigger Cruz, Manuel Ocampo, Kawayan de Guia, Alwin Reamilio, JC Jacinto, Salvador Alunday, Maria Vicente, Luis Santos, Jean Paul Martin, Georgie Solano at Oka Villamael. Matatagpuan ng Art Informal sa number 277 Connecticut Street, Green Hills East, Mandaluyong City. Samantala, inihahandog ng Altromondo Arte Contemporanea ang solo exhibition ni Benji Cabangis. Pinamagatang Scenarios. Tampok dito ang mga pinakabago niyang obra na gumagamit ng geometric style. Ang gallery ay matatagpuan sa 3rd level ng Greenbelt 5, Ayala Center, Makati City.
Usapang sining at kultura para sa lahat. Kasama ang balerina ng bayan, si Lisa Macuja. Art2art.
Kasama pa rin natin ang contemporary romance writer and poet na si Don Lanuza. Okay, Don, as a young adult fiction writer, ano ang mga current trends ng mga tema or mga subjects ngayon? What do readers look for nowadays?
Sa young adult po, as a reader as well, I noticed that there's a lot.
I hope hindi na mga vampira tsaka werewolf.
Tapos na po siya.
Tapos na siya, no?
Ano na po ngayon? Very diverse.
Sa mga end of the world scenarios.
Yes, dystopian.
Oh, yes.
Ano na po siya ngayon? We're more about hearing diverse voices. So, it's sort of marrying social issues with fiction. So parang very real life situations. Has something to do with racism. So it's more of like an open discussion of what's happening in the world with politics and social issues, but in a fiction book. So sometimes there's romance in it. So that's sort of how it pulls readers in, aside from, like the seriousness of the whole social issues, politics. So they sort of marry that.
Yeah, hindi ba parang napakaseryoso naman for young adults?
Yes po. So parang yun na po. They marry
young people nowadays are like getting into that, no?
Yeah,
I mean, I'm speaking kasi meron akong 2 teenager.
Yes.
Na yung isa malapit nang hindi maging teenager. Pero yeah, very, very conscious sila sa social injustice, social, concepts like that, na very serious.
But I think
in inclusiveness, and diversity, respecting diversity, respecting, other people's like choices, religion, skin color, whatever.
It's great that we're starting at a young age for them to learn about that, rather than, have adults thinking this way and then, somebody corrects them. It's like, oh, but I wasn't taught like this when I was young. So I feel like it's great that in young adult, like they can reach like 16-year-olds or 15-year-olds, talk about these things, so they can, sort of open their eyes on like a better perspective of the world. Yeah.
Okay. Well, so as you read and you write and you have a day job.
Yes.
So what do you do in your spare time? Do you have spare time? And how does that, basically your creative process of, how do you get your ideas? How do they develop?
Well, luckily kasi po, I work in a creative environment as well because I work in music and sort of this is like my job na din. So I feel like what I read is sort of works like a research as well for me. I wish I could shut it off sometimes because, sometimes it gets too much. But I think that's just how it works. Even as I was, before I self-published, pag nagbabasa naman po ako, laging may ideas of, what I can write something like this. I can do my take on this. So I guess my spare time is this that turned into a job. But I also do enjoy like concerts, going to concerts, music festivals. So that's really like how I spend my time. But the rest, I rest.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess another question that comes to mind is, because you're a self-published author, sino nagbibigay sa'yo ng deadline? Ikaw mismo, di ba?
Yes.
So you have to give yourself deadlines, right?
Yeah.
So, in other words, like, for example, itong libro mo, the last line,
The last time
I'll write about you.
Yes.
Okay. It's a book of poems. So how long did it take you to do this from the first, I guess from the first poem to the last?
That one is a different process for me kasi po hindi ko po siya inisip na gagawin ko siyang libro. For me po kasi it started as me taking notes of ideas because I was having writer's block before that book. So sometimes you can see like a single line lang from that book or like really like a stanza or a verse lang. Because it was like me taking down like notes for future novels. That was like my, so it took me like almost a year before I realized, I can actually make it into this kind of book. Because a lot of people are also publishing poetry books that are in that kind of style, so they call it insta poetry.
Insta poetry.
Yeah.
May Instagram, may insta poetry.
It's sort of related to Instagram.
May insta novel na rin ba? Hindi kasha sa screen. Insta short story.
Yeah. So parang ganun po. So parang I just realized that I have all these ideas na hindi ko napuput into longer words because of my writer's block. So I just decided na I can just make it like this. And then my editor picked through because there was like a lot because it's like more than a year of like
maraming notebook. In other words.
Phone notes po actually.
Phone notes na ngayon, hindi na notebook. Okay.
So I just have to transfer it to a Word file and then she had to pick through that. And then the good thing about it is she sort of like created a story. So that's what happened with that book. But for my novels, I set the deadlines. It usually takes me siguro mga 6 months.
6 months?
Yes.
6 months lang? Talaga?
A year siguro. But I had this one book that I wrote for Anvil. What About Today? It's young adult. I wrote it for like a class. We had like a young adult class, so I wrote it in like 1 to 2 months. So that's like my fastest ever to produce a book. But the rest, I think ngayon na parang everything is catching up to me because I have a job in that. I'm learning to sort of take it slower. So I won't force anything. So I make sure na whatever I come up with, there's no pressure behind it, and then whatever is in it is something that I would be okay with.
Nakikita mo ba sa sarili mo na i-quit mo yung iyong day job in order to go into full-time writing?
Maybe, siguro. But right now, I still enjoy what I do with my day job. I feel I think it's a question of like my time na lang and
time
the energy. Yes. And the energy that I spend with.
Okay. So alam ko ngayon, alam ko nahihiya kang magbasa ng iyong mga poems. Kasi I always, ito lagi ang hiling ko sa mga manunulat na guest sa aming programa. To read their work.
Okay.
So since ayaw mong i-read ang iyong work, ako na lang ang magbabasa. Okay. So, random ito ha. I just opened the page. Medyo nasa gitna ng iyong libro. The last time I'll write about you. Okay. Sino bang inspiration mo dito? The last
Many
time
people.
I'll write about you. Who's the you? Okay. Anyway, so, it's called Revolving Door.
Okay.
Okay. Maybe you wanted me to hate you. Because God knows I love you. Maybe you hate me too. Because why else would you walk in and out of my life like you were in a revolving door? I watch you at it, spinning and spinning. I wait for you to decide to stop. Look at me. Come inside. Stay. Maybe you wanted me to hate you. Forget that I love you so I can stop watching. And you can stop spinning. Because God knows it's exhausting to be inside that revolving door. And maybe, just maybe, that's why you hate me. Because it was just you spinning, as it always has been, in that revolving door. Wow, that was really nice.
Hugot.
Hugot, major hugot. Okay, so is this now a book or a scene in one of your novels? Itong poem na kakabasa ko lang?
Actually po, that started actually as I was trying to write a book with a band in it. So I was trying to write songs, kunwari nila. So that was actually supposed to be like a song, but I sort of changed it up not to work better as a poem instead of a song. So that's sort of like the story behind that.
Okay. Yeah. And just a question. Dumaan ka ba sa revolving door kaya bigla kang nagkaroon ng aha moment? I'm going to write about a scene involving a revolving door.
Maybe. Maybe nagkataon.
Okay. So para sa mga interesadong bumili ng kopya nitong The Last Time I'll Write About You, or go into Amazon and buy and read one of your self-published books, how can they find them?
That book, The Last Time I Write About You, is now published by Andrews McMeel Publishing. So it's available worldwide. Here in the Philippines, you can find it in National Bookstore and fully booked. Online, it's still available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and other...
so they just search Don Lanuza, yeah? And,
or the title of the
Amazon,
book.
Or the title of the book, of course.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, Dawn, thank you so much for being our guest this afternoon here in Art2art, and I wish you more inspiration and more books, whether self-published or published by others, and of course, continued success.
Thank you so much. I've had so much fun being here. Thank you.
Thank you. Hanggang sa susunod na linggo, samahan ninyo kami ulit dito sa Art2art, kung saan ang usapang sining at kultura ay para sa lahat. Ito po ang inyong balerina ng bayan, Lisa Macuja, nagpupugay sa artistang Pilipino.